Yeah, how is it going? Today is 8th of November, Friday, and we're gonna be taking a look at market and what's happening. It's just that we're currently following all the what's happening with media within the UK. Since there might be a lot of changes, and perhaps they might need to have a license to operate all these kind of things. In particular, we focusing on narratives, so there's a lot of media that are pushing a lot of different narratives, and perhaps a lot of those narratives might be for sale. If not right now, we can take a look at some of those companies that might be for sale if someone's interested in buying. As well as we were taking a look at additional measures when it comes to purchasing some of those companies. The government is interesting in overseeing purchase process. But anyway, it's something that was published today. We can take a look at some of these articles as well as we're going to be taking a look at opportunities, and we're going to be finishing today's video while focusing on perhaps what would be important, right? But anyway, let's take a look at first article and let's try to understand what it's all about, right? Media Minister launches forum to advise on the future of UK's television. Forum will be chaired by Media Minister, let's skip names, and will bring together a representation from TV industry and audience groups, right? I think I was taking a look at some of the appointments made when it comes to archiving and all. Some of those appointments was I have checked background of the people. One of those people were from media, so perhaps it's worth keeping a track of history and the way how information was published. In particular, it was published by UK's media sources, who was publishing, what they were saying, if it was factual information, if it was any particular way how the narrative was driven by a handful of people, all these kind of things, and how this information would be archived and kept for future generations to see what kind of narrative was pushed on large percentage of group of individuals within UK and abroad, right? So I think that will be very important, and having those notes is very important. And it's just that I think that we take a look at some of the organizations and the way how information was presented 10 years ago. And then now we're taking a look at some of those media companies and the way how they framed a lot of information of what was happening, how accurate that information was. It will be very important for future generations to take a look at some of the work that these institutions and government was doing, which is very important, right? And we perhaps we're gonna find out more within this article, right? That I was referring to that should be something that was some of the appointments that was made yesterday. That would be a couple of people appointed to National Archives. So hopefully we're gonna have all this information from all these media companies being archived, and for example, that information won't get lost. You know, that would be unnecessary, right? Anyway. The government is to scrutinize the future of linear TV broadcasting. A new research published today shows that some of these could be excluded from the general shift towards online viewership. Senior representation from Ofcom TV broadcasting infrastructure operations and organizations representing audience will form the new working groups covering the media minister, or let's keep names, will consider how all viewers, including older people and all others without interest connecting on the TV, can contribute across world-class British content as consumer habits continue to change. Consumer habits, or perhaps including habits or narratives that will be pushed on people, right? Including that is perhaps worth noting, right? The group will consult with the key stakeholders to how changing these habits of the rise of audience watching shows over internet will impact the future of TV broadcasting. It will have particularly focus on the pressures with puts on delivering traditional broadcast televisions in a cost-effective way, right? Which might be important as well as we can take a look at what in particular. Uh, I don't know how these organizations been subsidized, and would that be taxpayers' money, our money, been subsidizing all these companies, which is kind of interesting, right? So, what I will caution that all the information that was done, all this narrative that was pushed on a large percentage of groups of people, I hope that it will be archived and won't be lost, right? That's it. For within the next 10 years or 20 years, for next generations to take a look at what those organizations were doing. That's some of the things that I'm interested in, right? Let's take a look at potentially where there might be more opportunities, so there should be more attention to say the least. How to be up close with a 300-ton driverless truck with rise of technology and potential for opportunities when it comes to not only how some of those trucks would be operated, as well as some of those areas would include how those trucks would be powered, since there might be a lot of investments how to power these trucks, right, and or alternative fuel sources. There might be something that was called, I don't know if it's still available. It was something like red diesel competition, where people can express their interest in how to power those trucks, right? So far, I'll touch on it. It's kind of interesting point to mention, as well as that will be not necessarily just this particular truck, but that will be a forklift truck drivers who never leave their desks, right? So there might be additional opportunities when it comes to some of those operators driving not only those particular trucks, but forklift drivers or loaders, right? I thought it might be worth mentioning, right? I thought it might be worth mentioning some of those, in particular, sensitive areas how to do potentially Ukraine and Lithuania to develop ammunition production facilities, and how to manufacture and or prepare potentially for what will be coming. Hopefully, it won't be coming, but at least there would be facilities there ready, right? As well as while we're taking a look at how to develop those facilities, we're not taking a look at contracts and who has capabilities to manage those facilities, since there's very particular ammunition that would be required. That would be maybe, depending on the smaller, at least in the picture, most likely we're taking a look at 155, and just a handful of companies can manufacture that equipment, by the way. So once that been said, we can briefly take a look at how to raise capital, right, and subsidize some of those services. So I thought we can take a look at interesting articles that was published recently, perhaps 5 days ago. That would be 3 million. Perhaps you can ask for a little bit less if they would be interested. In they might have a number of units available. I believe I have watched the documentary. I don't know if it's accurate, right? The documentary, they were talking about the manufacturing of at least five, but they might have 10 different units, and they might have fixed, they might have broke some, or they maybe be interested in building a couple extra units, right? Cost, depending in pounds and euros, it might be different costs, as well as you can ask if you purchase a couple of those units, they might offer you a discount, right? But that would be from the movie, right? And I think there's a group of engineers from UK who have agreed to manufacture some of those units, but again, that was in the documentary, right? As well as I thought, since we take a look at bats, so I thought we can take a look at how taxpayers' money is being spent. That would be HST boss reveals 100 million bill for a railway line bat shed that isn't needed. So when we take a look at at the same time, we just take a look at what's happening, right, and some of those manufacturing or large infrastructure projects and how finances would be allocated. So since we take a look at one car, which is Batmobile, I thought it kind of funny. While we're taking 100 million and anyway, thanks for watching. See you next one.